Hello again, everyone. Detective Sergeant Stephanie Nook here, Bedfordshire Police Serious Crime Investigation Unit. Thank you all for joining. Here we go again. Hello, Mr. Cooper. Listen, Nook, as a falsely accused, I'm invoking my right to remain silent. Well, we can come on to procedural considerations once we finish the introductions. Oh, no, Nook. You just hold on 1 second. I've agreed to take part in this case review to push things along as a service to the people of Bedfordshire. But as for your procedural considerations, you can stick those where the sun don't shine. Luton. Ted, it's Kimberly Strutt here from the solicitors. As your legal representative, you can always let me, represent you. Legally. Thank you. Did you hear that, Nook? I've got backup. So don't even think about trying to make me talk, because if you do try to trick me into saying anything, Ms. Strutt here is fully authorised to jump in and remain silent on my behalf. Cooper, you never shut up long enough for anyone to need to make you talk. All the petty bureaucrats of the district together cannot make me talk. Not you, Miss Abigail Pounder, feared overlord of the parish council. Not you, Reverend Trevor Bishop, braying mouthpiece of the church. And certainly not you, Lysander Bell, Tuttenhow's most overexposed local historian and published author. Pompous muppet. None of you can make me talk, so there. Okay, but shall we just... Can you hear Jasper barking out there? 3rd time today he's been at it. Not another corpse under one of your sheds, I hope, Cooper. Don't worry, there's no barking noise coming over here. Or here, Reverend. Well, it's certainly coming over here, right across the grounds. Ah, in the office, are you, Abigail? I could probably wave at you. Never mind waving at me, Trevor. Silence your blasted dog. It's his fault we're going through this trial in the first place. In fairness, Abigail, my Jasper didn't put the body there. He only sniffed him out. He sniffed him. He never snuffed him. Well, are you going to bring him to order or not? No, not now the meeting started. Has the meeting started, dear Snook? Well, not exactly, Mr. Bell. We're just waiting for Superintendent Blanchard, who is a reviewing officer assigned from a different force. She tells me she's been delayed a couple of minutes by a domestic accident. It's your fault anyway, Abigail. How can it possibly be my fault? Never even met the woman. Jasper's barking is your fault. It's that motion-activated uplighter you had installed in the wishing well just before all this rotten shed business. Well, how's that upsetting him? It's only designed to come on if you lean over or throw something in, and it's bright daylight now anyway. You wouldn't even see it. It's developed a squeal, intermittent, I think, but very high-pitched. I can't hear it, but Morgan, my young nephew, he came over the other day and he could. It must be like a dog whistle to Jasper. Okay, I'll have it taken out again. Ah, here she is now. Sorry, I'm late. Is this everyone, dear Snook? Yes, Mum. I'll do introductions if that's all right. Please do. Is your head okay? I think there's blood coming through your dressing. What on earth happened? I was rushing to pack away the blasted home delivery groceries this morning, leapt up from putting away something or other at low altitude and smashed it on an open cupboard door. Heavens. Are you well enough to proceed, Mum? Yes, please carry on. It's slowing to a trickle, I think. Okay, so to recap, this relates to the Austin Grinter case of 6 months ago, the body found by the wishing well in the area of ground cleared for the new parish council shed. Those of you familiar with the first phase of our incompetence, of our inquiries, will remember I was part of the investigating team, along with Detective Inspector Maxwell. That Burke. Yes, I take it from your message he's not available, Nook. No, Mum, he sends apologies. What did you mean by internet outrage? Sorry, internet outage, that was supposed to say, Mum. His connection to the network is intermittent. His connection to reality is intermittent. He suggested we carry on without him. Very good. So who do we have? We have Ted Cooper, the shed installer. That's right. Ted Cooper of Ted Sheds. A well-known tradesman in the local area, Mum. And across the county, if you don't mind. Ted Sheds, the best in beds. You're also a market leader in providing beds, Mr. Cooper? No, just sheds. And your gazebo. But I've given up trying to work them into the slogan. I should think trying to find a rhyme for gazebo is the least of your public relations worries, Cooper. That Dead as a Shed page that sprang up on Facebook had 12,000 likes last time I checked. 12,000! Bloody Facebook! That does sound a lot. A lot? There are only 900 people in the village. 899, thanks to someone's efforts. Bad enough having locals traipsing along the old footpath through my front garden to see the wishing well or get from one side of the village to the other. The last thing I need is it becoming infamous. I was right enough about the shed attracting extra visitors, never mind a body. Tuttenhoe Bugle exclusive, local man erects shed. Large crowds expected. I'm glad you're finding it so amusing, Mr. Bell. It's made my life a misery. I still don't understand the reference that Mr. Cooper made to beds. They're not built into the sheds, I hope. I'm sure that's not allowed. Our humble parish of Tattenhoe is in Bedfordshire, Superintendent. So, while it can be said that Ted's sheds are in beds, it should be taken as read that there are no beds in Ted's sheds, for the avoidance of doubt. Yes, that's crystal. Well done. So, anyway, the body of Mr. Austin Grinter was found within one of Mr. Cooper's installation sites, and with Mr. Cooper's pickaxe buried between his shoulder blades, hence why he became a person of interest. But as I've argued all along, no one had spent time actually listening to me would ever have labelled me a person of interest. How crushingly true. Mr. Grinter was found laid face up with the implement still beneath him and intruding fatally into his central cavity, like he'd been hit from behind with it and then toppled or been pulled backwards to the ground, arms spread wide, almost like he'd been arranged in a sort of cruciform pose. I see. Mr. Cooper has legal representation in place for this meeting in the form of Miss Strutt. Pleased to meet you, Superintendent. Kimberly Strutt of Fisher Strutt Mackenzie Partners. You're barely old enough to be a partner. Oh, no, I'm not a partner. My grandfather, Henry Strutt, is the partner. He's definitely old enough. Overly so, if anything. Still, I imagine your clients find it reassuring to have you assigned to their cases? We certainly do. If you get lumbered with a granddaughter, you can be fairly confident that nobody's taken it particularly seriously. Ageist or sexist, you decide. Moving on, it was Miss Abigail Pounder here, in her role as clerk of the parish, who commissioned Mr. Cooper to erect the shed, the chosen site falling within the public grounds controlled by her administration. Quite so, and pleased to meet you. Rounding up, the Reverend here occupies the vicarage within the same site, and it was he who first reported the body after it was discovered by his dog Jasper. Pleased to meet you, Superintendent. Call me Trevor, or Trev. Rev Trev, that is trendy, or any combination thereof. Just try to avoid the bishop. Why? To minimise confusion. Why does your bishop cause confusion? Oh, he doesn't. He's very lucid for a man of his station. No, it's my name that sometimes causes the confusion. To the bishop? To anyone. People mistake it for my job title. You see? Since when has Trevor been a job title? If I may, ma'am, the Reverend's surname is Bishop, Reverend Trevor Bishop. He was worried about people becoming confused by it. And with good cause, as it turns out. Can we get on with it? And finally, we have Lysander Bell, a local historian who has recently been appointed as an independent observer to represent the interests of the deceased, who had no family to speak of at the time of his death. We're very grateful, Mr. Bell. You were a friend of Mr. Grinter, I take it? Certainly not. He was an awful fellow, drunken, boorish, unkempt, work-shy. Mr. Grinter was not a popular man, by all accounts, ma'am, but although not fond of him, Mr. Bell's lack of fondness does at least appear to have been largely theoretical, whereas many others in Tuttenhoe found him unlikable on a more up-close and personal basis. Furthermore, there was a great many others in the village for whom I am similarly lacking in fondness, which your colleagues felt gave me a certain impartiality. Very well. So to conclude, I am Superintendent Vicky Blanchard, and I've been assigned from another force to undertake a review of this case. Are you all right, ma'am? Should we break for a few minutes? Break? We haven't managed to get started yet. Sorry, I felt a little woozy for a second. Where was I? The review? Yes, so the Crown Prosecution Service has declared this to be what they call a peculiar case. I am therefore the peculiar case review officer. You certainly are.